Welcome back to the channel, friends, family, decoders. Hope you guys are all great today. Today is December 11th, 2025. And in this video, we got a lot to talk about. It's been a week since I've been on here because I was traveling. So, I missed a lot of stuff I wanted to cover, but we're back. And hopefully, you guys are doing well out there. Let me know in the live stream chat if you guys can hear me. Hello to Tax Insurance. Hello to Coffee Girl. Thank you, Coffee Girl, for the thumbs up. Appreciate you. And yeah, so make sure you guys like the video if you enjoyed the content. We're gonna wait a few minutes and get some more people in here. But yeah, I got a lot of crazy, interesting things I want to talk about. Last time we all saw each other or spoke on my channel. That is, I was on Ball Don't Lie, his channel with the Eye to Eye podcast a few days ago. But yeah, so this is the first time we've seen each other for a while. But the last thing that I talked about was the December 7th date being 9/11/01 days after the founding of the United States. So we're going to cover what happened on that day and just how symbolic it was. Okay. So we're going to cover that, and we're going to cover just the extreme craziness of everything that connects to. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I appreciate you all for being here. And we'll give, as usual, we'll give like another minute or so, get some people in here, and then we'll get straight into the info. So anyone watching on the replay, I appreciate you. Hello to somebody from Belgrade. Wow, interesting. I was in Serbia not too long ago. And just so you guys know, I'm back in Germany. And yeah, I'm back in Germany. I was traveling on the day the United States turned 9/11/01 days. And before we even get into the other stuff, give me 1 second. I'll show you what happened to me on that day. Just 1 second, guys. All right, so shout out to Heart Chakra, Casey Jones, or Bobby. Hello. Yeah, we might talk a little bit about Pat Tillman. I don't have anything for him yet, but I know you've been sharing some great stuff on him. But yeah, I am going to talk about Philip Rivers to answer your question, Tommy. I'm going to talk about Philip Rivers. Maybe a lot of you guys don't even know who that is, but I'm gonna cover that. But anyway, let's just go over to my other slide of what happened to me. So you guys knew that the United States turned 9/11/01 days. Let me just bring that up. So if you go back to July 4th, 1776, July 4th, 1776, you go to the day of Pearl Harbor Day, just a few days ago, and you'll see that the age of the United States was 9/11/01 days on December 7th, okay? So I talked about this day multiple times, many different times I talked about this day. And so I also told you guys that I was going to be flying on this day. And where was I going to be flying to? I was going to be flying to D.C., Washington, D.C., right? The capital of the United States, okay? And this measurement is the measurement of the United States' age on that day. Well, what happened to me, okay? Well, here's what happened to me, right? So when I originally booked the flight to Germany, I had no idea that the time I was supposed to, the original time it gave me for the landing of the flight in DC was 9:14, okay? But as soon as I got to the airport in Columbus, Ohio, where I left from, I noticed that they had changed the date the time for my arrival to 9:11 p.m. okay? And long story short, I got on the plane and I was wondering, are we really going to land at 9:11? Okay. Are we really going to land at 9:11 p.m. on the day that the United States is 9/11/01 days old? And shout out to KJ Malone, great decoder. The Washington Capitals goal scorer, Alex Ovechkin, is on 911 goals. Wow. When did he score, KJ, when did he score his 911th goal? Can you tell me when that was? So let me finish the story, then we'll check on that. But so anyway, guys, let me just get, because I already covered this on our Eye to Eye podcast. But for those of you who haven't seen it, long story short, what are the chances that the one person in the world who talked more about this date than anyone was on a flight on this day? And I landed at 9, guys, my wheels of my plane touched down at 9:11 p.m. on this day, on this very, very important day, right? Again, just to show you how old the United States was. This is the day I touched down at 9:11, okay? This day. And you guys can just understand how surreal that is. It's just super surreal and super interesting just how this reality works. We manifest things into reality. And by me being somebody on the internet who talks about these things and I manifest these things, we all do this, right? But these things are part of how this matrix works. And it's just crazy to see that this is what happened, okay? And there's a lot more to the story, but I won't bore you all with all more of that. But the point is, this day was a very important day. And something else happened on this day, December 7th, that this whole story is going to connect to, okay? So that was my little organic connection. Here's me, Cody, landing at 9/11. And then from DC, I would take off and I would come to Germany, okay? And that's where I'm at now, okay? So with that out of the way, again, if you guys want to hear a little bit more of this story, go over to the Eye to Eye podcast on Ball Don't Lie. That's where I covered a little bit more of this story. But for now, this is what I'm going to talk about. All right. So what are we going to talk about in the rest of this video? Well, we're going to talk about what happened. We're going to talk about what happened on December 7th in the NFL to my favorite team, by the way, guys. Again, how many videos have I done this year about the Indianapolis Colts? Okay. I've done many videos this year covering Daniel Jones. Okay. I've done many videos this year covering John Cena's retirement match coming up in DC in 2 days. Okay, so we're going to talk about John Cena, of course. But again, John is a form of, or Jones. Okay, we're going to talk about Daniel Jones. Okay, let's just get into the slide, the first slide. All right, so anyways, this is the day that I also landed at 9:11 p.m., right? And before I landed at 9:11 p.m., okay, so KJ Malone, just to cover what we just mentioned a little bit ago, KJ Malone says that Alexander Ovechkin scored his 911th goal against the San Jose Sharks on 12/3. Wow, interesting. Like Indianapolis equals 123. Thank you for that, KJ. I'll look more into that. That's interesting, for sure. But let's go back to this. All right. So if you guys have been following my channel, I've been talking about 3 things lately, really a lot. Okay. I've been talking about this 9/11/01 date, right? December 7th was 9/11/01 days after the United States. I've been talking about Daniel Jones from the Indianapolis Colts. And I've been talking about John Cena, who's retiring in Washington in 2 days, okay? So, first of all, let's explain what happened right before I got on the flight on December 7th, okay? That was a Sunday, okay? That was a Sunday, so that means that football was being played. The NFL plays its games on Sundays, right? And I was watching this game because both teams came in 8-4. Okay, the record was 8-4. It was the 84th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Okay, I was talking about this extensively. That December 7th was the 84th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Okay, 12 times 7 equals 84. And of course, it lined up with the United States' founding too, with the 9/11/01, right? But so I was watching this game between the Indianapolis Colts, my favorite team growing up. Of course, I really don't say they're my favorite team now because I know that sports is all coded, right? But anyways, this game I was watching because both teams, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who the Colts were playing, they came in with both records having 8-4, right? Like the 84th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, okay? And lo and behold, during this game, a collapse, a horrible injury happened, okay? So this is super symbolic. I know you guys might think, this is, Cody, why you keep talking about these stupid sports games? They don't mean anything. We don't care. A lot of people probably thinking that. But the problem is that, guys, everything on the world stage, especially these sports games, is high energetic, and it's super predictive and super high energy, high coded, and everything that happens on these fields and in these stadiums is so important, okay? This is in front of thousands and millions of people on TV. This energy is directed into our reality, and it manifests into our reality. And this is one thing that we cannot ignore, okay? This guy who was originally the quarterback in New York City, okay? Let me show you Daniel Jones. Before we get into the rest of it, let me show you Daniel Jones, where he used to play. Okay. So Daniel Jones, this is the quarterback who got hurt on Pearl Harbor Day. Okay. It's more than bread and circus. Okay. It is bread and circus, but it's way deeper than that. Okay. And I'm going to show you in this video why it's super deep. It's more deep than just bread and circus. Okay. This is the reality seriously giving us a wink. Okay. It's telling us more. Okay. This is a spiritual, deep thing going on. Okay. Why did I land at 9/11/01? Why did I land at 9/11 p.m. on that day? That's not bread and circus. That's not the elites doing this. There is something much bigger in God's plan of this reality that's going on here. Okay. And these football players or these athletes, they direct all this energy, right? So anyway, Daniel Stephen Jones III, he gets hurt. He used to play for the New York Giants. Okay. So what happened in New York on 9/11/01? Okay. What happened? Right? The two towers went down on 9/11/01. Okay. So on the day the United States turned 9/11/01, Daniel Jones, the quarterback who used to be a quarterback for New York, went down. Okay. He went down with an injury. Okay. A season ending injury, a torn Achilles. Okay. So why is this so important? Because the Colts, okay, let me just show you the Colts. First of all, we're heading into the year of the horse, okay? We're coming into the Chinese year of the horse, okay? But let me show you the Colts and what happened to them, okay? So the Colts right here, their last win, okay, their last win was in Berlin, Germany. Okay, that's where I'm at now. Their last time that they won a game was in Berlin, Germany, and they beat the Falcons. Okay. I covered this game extensively. Okay. And ever since this game, guys, ever since this game that the Colts won in Berlin on 9/11, it was on November 11th, the day the Berlin Wall fell. Ever since that date, the Colts have fallen, okay? What do I mean by that? Well, here they were 8-2, okay? In this game on 9/11, they were 8-2. After the game was over, they had won, okay? Well, let's see what happened the next weeks, okay? So here's their last game in Berlin on 9/11. They lost the next game 20-23, right? They lost the next game 20-16. They lost the next game 19-36. You'll notice that these are all years, guys. Notice these are all years. 2023, 20-16, and 19-36. Notice the score here. 19-36. Do you guys know who was born in 1936? Someone in the chat, let me know who was born in the year 1936. Somebody who's relevant to this year. And again, this is not a normal score in football. 19-36 is not a common football score. Yes, thank you, Golden Age Deception. Shout out to you. Make sure you guys go check him out, Golden Age Deception. But yeah, let me bring up his comment. He got it. He got it right. Okay. Pope Francis. Okay. Pope Francis was born in 1936. Okay. The Colts lost 19-36 on Pearl Harbor Day, when the United States was 9/11/01 days old. Okay. Now, Pope Francis died this year. Okay. He was born in 1936, but he died this year at 88 years old. And so let me just start with some gematria. Let's just go over some simple. I'm just going to show you how this is all connected with gematria. Let me just type in Catholic Pope, okay? Let me get all this reordered. All right, so Pope Francis was the Catholic Pope, right? And I want you guys to notice the gematria of Catholic Pope. 123, 60, 201, 57, okay? Base 4 ciphers. I want you guys to notice the gematria of Indianapolis. This is why Indianapolis is being used, okay? Because look at the gematria of Indianapolis. 123, 60, and 201. It's a 3-cipher match with Catholic Pope. Notice that the word Catholic Mass also equals 123, 201. Now, this video, we're going to eventually be talking about something called a new beginning. And new beginning equals 123 and 201, like Indianapolis, like Catholic Pope. Okay. We're also going to be talking about the same concept called begin again, which equals 201 and 57, just like new beginning, right? So just like Indianapolis. So all these things equal 201, right? We know 201 is important, right? Begin again, Catholic Mass, Catholic Pope, Indianapolis, new beginning, all equal 201. Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Who's Jorge Mario Bergoglio? Let me spell his name out. Jorge Mario Bergoglio equals 201. Okay. So again, let's hit the 201s. Let's add that to the list. That's the name of Pope Francis. Okay. Now remember, the Colts lost on Pearl Harbor Day, 19-36. This is the year Jorge Mario Bergoglio was born 1936. Okay. His name equals 201, like Indianapolis. But even better than that, Jorge Mario Bergoglio equals 105, like Indianapolis Colts. If you spell it right. So look at Indianapolis Colts and look at Jorge Mario Bergoglio. It's a match, right? So not only does it have the 201, Indianapolis Colts equals the Pope's name, the former Pope's name, right? 105. And shout out to Derek, who I saw in the chat, but I'm going to be using some of Derek's slides in this decode because I've been super behind and I've been overwhelmed as well. But I'm going to just shout out to Derek from Gematria 85. We're going to see a lot of stuff that he put together. I didn't put as many slides as I would have liked together, but he mentions about Aaron Rodgers, who won the Super Bowl 31-25, and he tore his Achilles just like Daniel Jones on 9/11 versus the Jets. That's crazy because the Colts beat Atlanta on 9/11 31-25. So wow, that's something we definitely missed. Mr. S says Philip Rivers born the same day as the Notre Dame reopening. So yeah, we're going to get to that, guys. Most people in the chat don't even know who Philip Rivers is yet. And shout out to Widow's son who just got in, I guess. A big shout out to you. I think we're going to be doing a live stream sometime this week, me and Widow's son, or we're going to have to plan one because I have a lot of stuff to talk about with Widow's son and a lot of stuff that's going on. Okay. So hopefully we can set up a stream. I want that to be a stream we do in the next few days, hopefully. Also, I'd like to get Derek Gematria 85 on here again. But I just had to do this decode today because I was out all day at a Christmas market and I just wanted to get a video out. So that's why we're doing this now. But I definitely want to collaborate with these other two dudes here very soon. Yeah, Daniel Jones is born on the 60th anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, so this is super important as well because we're heading on Super Bowl 60, guys. Okay, I got so much to cover. I'm overwhelmed by this. Jones was born on the 60th birthday of the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, the Super Bowl is in San Francisco, and it's Super Bowl 60. And we just saw a 60 here. Okay, we just saw some 60s. Look at this: Indianapolis 60, Catholic Pope 60. Now we're going to talk about the golden mean, which is the middle way, or it's also the golden ratio. Okay, the Golden Gate Bridge, the golden ratio, the golden mean. And I'm going to show you how this is all connected to the golden ratio. It's clear, but I'm going to show you that in a little bit, okay? But let's just look at this. The golden mean equals 60. Catholic Pope 60, Indianapolis 60, okay? Super Bowl 60 is coming up. Again, just to prove to you that Daniel Jones was born on the birthday, on the 60th. So the Golden Gate Bridge opened on May 27th, 1937. Daniel Jones was born 1997. So he was born on the 60th birthday of the bridge. Okay. That's big, guys, because he just went down with an injury. Okay. When the United States was 9/11/01 days old. So that's big. So again, let's go back to the Colts. The Colts lost and they're collapsing, okay? They're collapsing. They're now 8-5 and out of the playoffs, okay? They were the best team in the league for a minute, and as soon as they played on 9/11 in Berlin, Germany, after that, they collapsed, okay? And now they're out of the playoffs. They're 8-5. So what do the Colts do, okay? So, again, for those who are not familiar with NFL football, let me explain what happens next. Okay. So Daniel Jones gets hurt. He goes down in a 9/11 riddle, and they have to find somebody to replace him. Okay. But before we get to that person, we need to go talk about CENA for a second, because how old was John Cena on the day that Daniel Jones went down? Let's see. John Cena was born in 1977 on April 23rd. And Daniel Jones went down on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. And John Cena was 1770-60. See the 60 at the end there? 17,000. Like John Cena is a 17-time world champion. Like Daniel Jones wears number 17. 760 days. Remember the 60s, right? Super Bowl 60. So John Cena was 17,760 days old on Daniel Jones on his injury. Now, John Cena, Jones, let me type in the name Jones. What does Jones mean? Jones, hold on, Jones' name mean? Jones is a Welsh patronymic surname meaning son of John. Oh, so why did John, son of John, Jones, why did he go down on the day that John Cena was 1776 days old and the United States was 9/11/01? Okay, why did Jones go down? Because Jones is connected to John. Okay, now look at the shirt that John Cena wore earlier this year in his retirement tour. Look at that. It says the last time is now, Cena, and it says Indianapolis Colts. You see the Indianapolis Colts logo? So yes, guys, John Cena even wore the Colts logo this year. And now Daniel Jones for the Colts goes down just before John Cena, the number 17 time champion, just before he ends his career in 2 days in Washington, D.C. Yes, Daniel means judgment, right? Daniel's all about judgment, guys. We've been talking about the fight that's coming up this month on the 19th called Judgment Day. Daniel, the book of Daniel. Judgment. Daniel in the lion's den. We had a huge, what was my last video on this channel, guys? It was about the lions. And then Daniel goes down. So we have Daniel Jones. We have John Cena. Now, the opponent for John Cena has been chosen. And his name is the Ring General, Gunther. Gun. Thur. He's got the gun. He's got the ring general, like a war. Okay? And he's got the gun in his name. We're going to talk more about Gunther in another time, but Gunther is Austrian, like Hitler. So John Cena's final match is against an Austrian. He's not even American. Remember, this is all tied to the United States, right? Falling. The United States, John Cena, the United States guy. Yes, Phillip Rivers. We haven't even talked about Phillip Rivers yet because I haven't even revealed who's replacing Daniel Jones in this video. But Ball Don't Lie says that Phillip Rivers' son is Gunner. Yes, I saw that. Gunther, Gunner. Yeah, it's all connected, guys. So anyway, number 17 goes down. and number 17 is going away. After this, you can't see me. And look at the U, guys. The U is the Colts logo. You guys see how perfect this is? Just making it bigger. They use the Colts logo as the U. Wow. You, after this, you can't see me. So now you can't see Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones, he's injured. He's gone. Okay? He's out for the rest of the year with a torn Achilles. So now, who did they get to replace? So the Colts lost all of their quarterbacks. Their other quarterback, who was supposed to back up Daniel Jones, he got hit with a resistance band in practice and broke his orbital bone in his eye. Think about it, guys. You can't see me. And the backup quarterback for the Colts got hurt in the eye in a freak accident in practice. I mean, what kind of story is that? And John Cena's phrase is, you can't see me. So what are the Colts going to do? They lost all their quarterbacks. They've collapsed. They're not even in the playoffs anymore. They're like the Twin Towers. They've gone from the best team in the league to now they're not even going to make the playoffs. They're completely in disarray. What are they going to do? They lost their star quarterback. But who do they turn to? So here's what the rest of this decode is going to be about. Who do they turn to? They turn to Grandfather Rivers. So this is crazy, guys, because who is Rivers? His name is Philip Rivers, and he's been retired for 5 years. And his last game was actually for the same team, the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts signed Grandfather Rivers, 44 out of retirement. Now, what's happening right now, guys? John Cena's retiring, number 17, 17-time champion. Look who got hurt. Number 17, he got hurt, right? And now they're bringing in a guy from retirement who also wore the number 17. I mean, you guys see the joke here? So 17 got hurt, and now 17 comes in to save the day, right? So you guys might think, okay, it's Philip Rivers. Who is this guy? Who is this clown, right? Who's this person? Cody, I don't even care who this is. He's just some random football player. I don't care who he is. Guys, it's much more than just some random football player. So let's dig into Philip Rivers. First of all, this 44-year-old grandfather, how many kids does Philip Rivers have? Let me just go over to his thing. Let me find it here. Philip Rivers. Let's read about this guy. Philip Rivers is a devout Catholic. Okay. How did I start this decode? I was talking about the Catholic Pope and Indianapolis. Look at this. Catholic Pope. If you pipe in Catholic Pope in Gematria, it equals Indianapolis, right? It equals, in 3 out of 4 ciphers, Indianapolis. Yes, Sojourn, we're going to get to the Philip thing here in a minute, but let me just hit this one by one here. Indianapolis equals Catholic Pope and Catholic Mass. So the savior of this Indianapolis team, of course, they're trying to get this guy to save the team, right? Well, Philip Rivers is a devout Catholic. So much so that he won't cuss. You know, like most football players, while they're playing the game, they'll cuss. Well, Philip Rivers is such a devout Catholic that he won't cuss. He'll say something like "Dad gummit." Let me just show you that real fast. Philip Rivers, Dad gummit. So you'll see it right here. Dad gummit, let's freaking go, says the 44-year-old grandfather Rivers. Dad gummit, instead of saying, the bad version of that. I'm not even going to say that. But he says the word dad gummit. All right. So that's how much of a devout Christian he is. He will not cuss. He will not say curse words, right? Okay, so let's go back to his profile. Rivers married his junior high school sweetheart, Tiffany. Tiffany means epiphany, by the way, in 2001. Oh, wait. Did we not just start this decode talking about Daniel Jones, the guy that Rivers is replacing? He goes down on 9/11/01, and 2001 is when Philip Rivers had his epiphany. Again, guys, the name Tiffany, right? Tiffany meaning well, look at this. Not only that, Tiffany is like an epiphany, right? But look at this. Tiffany is a Greek origin that means manifestation of God. So he married his wife, Tiffany, in 2001. Okay. And she converted to Catholicism. Okay. We're just going through this slowly here. They have 7 daughters, 3 sons, and at least 1 grandchild. So this guy has 10 kids. And he's 44 years old. He's a grandfather. And he's coming back to save the team he once played for. And he's coming back under his favorite saying. And what is that? They're calling him Uncle Phil also. I'll get to that in a minute. They're calling him Uncle Phil, which connects to Philadelphia, which connects to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But they call him Uncle Phil. And his favorite saying, if you research this, let's just read this. The 17 years. Okay, guys, he wears the number 17. He played 17 years before he came out of retirement. Okay, he replaces number 17. We're talking about John Cena, the 17. Yeah, Baldwin Live, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air came out September 10th. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into that in this decode. There's way too much to cover, guys. I'm overwhelmed. But we'll cover that in another decode for sure. But anyway, his favorite saying is this. The 17-year-old NFL quarterback is a big believer in the Latin phrase NUNC COEPI. What's NUNC COEPI mean? Well, NUNC COEPI means now I begin, or begin again. Let me just show you NUNC COEPI. Notice that it has pi at the end of it, like pi, like a circle. So NUNC COEPI can mean now I begin. It can also mean begin again. So Philip Rivers has lived his life by the phrase NUNC COEPI. And NUNC COEPI means now I begin or begin again. Okay, so just keep that in mind for the rest of this decode. All right, and so the Colts, after they announced that they had signed the 44-year-old Philip Rivers, now notice he wears the number 17, and he's 44 years old. I forgot to mention, they signed him on his 44th birthday. So when was his birthday? His birthday is December 8th. So the Colts signed him or announced that they were going to sign him on his 44th birthday, guys. So how does the 44 and 17 connect? Well, the word kill. Look at the word kill, 44, 17. Now, look what happens when you type in the word 17. Look at this. Shout out to Gematrinator. Look at the word 17. Look, you just type the word 17 out and look at what you get. 17 equals 44. Like Rivers. His last name is Rivers. They're calling him Uncle Phil, which equals 44. He lives by the phrase NUNC COEPI, and NUNC COEPI equals 44. In fact, guys, look how coded this is. The Indianapolis Colts posted NUNC COEPI, and they posted Uncle Phil in the same post, okay? Uncle Phil, NUNC COEPI. Let's see what they equal in gematria. Let's type in NUNC COEPI. Look, NUNC COEPI is a 4 out of 4 gematria match. Let that sink in for a second. The Colts posted these two things, Uncle Phil and NUNC COEPI, who Uncle Phil lives by. And you're just happen to telling me that it's just a coincidence that these two things are a 4 out of 4 cipher gematria match, 146, 143, 44. Not to mention, they have the 44, okay? And again, Rivers equals 44. He wears number 17, which equals 44. Now look at this. The word lightning equals 100, 143, 44, like NUNC COEPI. Now, why is lightning relevant? Well, Philip Rivers, before he played for the Colts, he played most of his career with the Lightning team. You guys see it? The Chargers, okay? The Lightning. Remember, Barack Obama, hugely connected to this. The 44th president was Barack Obama. And Barack means lightning. Barack Obama means lightning from a high, right? We talked about Barack Obama in the last decode. Yeah, there's so much to talk about, guys. So you guys are all making great points. Again, shout out to Widow's Son. He's saying Philip Rivers' birthday is 12/8, which is bridge collapse. Okay, remember the bridge collapsed at 128. But the word bridge collapse equals 128. That's the birthday of Philip Rivers. Now, somebody in the chat earlier posted that the Notre Dame Cathedral, just remember this, guys, as we go through, Philip Rivers played for the Lightning team for most of his career, okay? That's why lightning is relevant here, okay? But anyway, Notre Dame Cathedral reopening. So look at this, guys. The Notre Dame Cathedral reopened on December 7th, 2024. Wow. So get this, guys. Daniel Jones goes down exactly a year later on December 7th, 2025, and 9/11/01, that's how old the United States was. That was exactly a year after Notre Dame reopened on December 7th, 2024. Why is this important? Because the quarterback who originally replaced Daniel Jones was named Riley Leonard. And where did he play college football? Look at this, guys. The guy who came in to replace the injured Daniel Jones on the 1-year anniversary of the Notre Dame Cathedral opening was Riley Leonard, and he played for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in Indiana, by the way. Notre Dame is in Indiana, the same place Indianapolis is. So we just cracked the code live on stream. The quarterback who replaced Daniel Jones played for Notre Dame. He also played for Duke, and Daniel Jones played for Duke as well. But he's from Fairhope, Alabama. Where is Philip Rivers, the guy they just signed, the 44-year-old grandpa they just signed to replace Daniel Jones and Riley Leonard? And Riley Leonard was born in Fairhope. Where is Philip Rivers from? He coaches high school football. Philip Rivers, right? Before he got back into the game, Philip Rivers coaches football in Fairhope, Alabama. What are the odds of that? What are the odds? After Rivers retired in January 20th, 2021, so Philip Rivers retired on Joe Biden's inauguration day, by the way. Joe Biden, the second Catholic president in United States history, the devout Catholic Rivers, he retired on Joe Biden's inauguration. And look at what he said. Rivers announced his retirement from the NFL after 17 seasons, saying it's just time. It's just time, guys. And I connected this to John Cena, number 17, who says, the last time is now. Okay? So you guys see how crazy this is? All right, like the quarterback who replaced Daniel Jones from Notre Dame 1 year after the Notre Dame Cathedral reopened, and now the devout Catholic who's in the same city as the guy from Notre Dame, the other quarterback. I hope I'm making sense. I know it's a lot of pieces to put together. But here's the point, guys. Here is the point. We're going to get, again, it's so much to keep together. I'm struggling with how to present this. So I apologize if this is not making, if this is like, seems like it's all over the place. Okay. I'm really sorry, guys. So what is this about? Okay. Let's talk about the Michael thing for a second. Philip Rivers' middle name is Michael. Now he coaches high school football at St. Michael's High School in Fairhope, Alabama, which again is the same place that the other quarterback for the Colts is from. Okay. And his name is Leonard Riley Leonard. This all connects to Pope Leo. Again, this whole Catholic thing, I started out the whole decode showing you the 1, 2, 3, 201, right? Like the simple gematria correlation between all these things, right? New beginning. Now I told you that Philip Rivers' favorite saying is, it means begin again, okay? NUNC COEPI means begin again, okay? And look at what begin again equals. Begin again equals 201. Like new beginning, like Indianapolis, like Catholic Pope, Catholic Mass, okay? All equals 201. The former Pope who died this year, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, equals 201. He lived in suite 201, okay? So what a coincidence. Now, big shout out to Sean. The same day that the Indianapolis Colts posted NUNC COEPI, which means new beginning, Jelly Roll was on Joe Rogan, just like John Cena was on Joe Rogan a few days ago. WWE's Jelly Roll breaks down crying on Joe Rogan's podcast. So just yesterday, when all this happened with the Colts posting new beginnings, right? Jelly Roll was on Joe Rogan, and Jelly Roll posted a scripture talking about new beginnings. Okay, I don't remember what the scripture was. I didn't have time to prepare slides for this. But if Sean's still in the chat, maybe you can write the verse out in the chat, please. But anyway, Jelly Roll, he made a post he quoted the scripture, okay? And he quoted a post about new beginnings. The same thing that the Colts posted yesterday with Philip Rivers, okay? Now, okay, it was 2 Corinthians 5:17. 2 Corinthians 5:17. So the verse that Jelly Roll posted yesterday was this: therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation, and the old has gone, the new has come. Okay? So think about that. It's all about new beginnings, new creation, right? Philip Rivers is all about NUNC COEPI, which means new beginnings, or so I begin. And all this happening on the same day, okay? All right, so thank you for that, Sean. Big fine. We're going to talk about that more probably in our next decode. We got so much to talk about. There's just so much to talk about. So anyway, going back to the Michael thing, okay? Philip Rivers' middle name is Michael, okay? And he coaches football at St. Michael. So what's up with Michael? Well, let's talk about what the name Philip means first. So again, guys, you have to look at the names and the meanings of the names. It's so important. You have to understand the names. Sean says he mentions it in the first minute of the podcast, Jelly Roll. So yeah, that's crazy. So what does Philip mean? Again, we're talking about Philip Rivers, right? Philip means lover of horses. Guys, are you kidding me? The guy's name means lover of horses. Why is that funny? Well, look at who Philip Rivers played for in his career. Philip Rivers played for the Chargers and the Colts, okay? The Colts are obviously a horse team, right? But what about the Chargers? Well, what if I told you that a Charger hold on, sorry guys. What if I told you that a Charger horse is a historical strong term for a strong, swift horse used by knights and soldiers in the Middle Ages? So a Charger, yeah, Jelly Roll's podcast was right after John Cena. So that's how that connects to John Cena. So a Charger, right? Charger's old logo. So again, Philip Rivers played most of his career with the Chargers, the horse, right? A war horse. And then he went to the Colts, right? Of course, the Colts are clearly a horse team. And his name is Philip, right? And Philip means lover of horses. So this leads us to the next big part of this is, guys, we are heading into the year of the horse. And the year of the horse begins on Michael Jordan's birthday. Huh. So right here, guys, February 17, 2026 is Michael Jordan's birthday. It's the 17th day of the month, right? Like Philip Rivers wears 17, right? And his middle name is Michael. So Philip means lover of horses, and Michael is like Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan's birthday next year is the 17th, the big 17 number, and it's on the first day of the year of the horse. That day has 65 date numerology, and horse equals 65. See that? So the date of the horse year starts on 65 numerology when horse equals 65. That's just an addition, but so wow. Michael and horses. And Philip Rivers coaches at St. Michael. Okay, so what's going on with this? Now let's type in Michael. Who is Michael? Now, big shout out to Bobby Simpson, Casey Jones Astrology for doing this, for putting me onto this. Okay, he's been a big connecting the Chargers. So this guy, Philip, who loves horses, Philip means lover of horses. His middle name is Michael. The horse year starts on Michael Jordan's birthday next year. And look at what verse Michael the Archangel is mentioned in Revelation. He's mentioned in Revelation 12:7 through 12. Guys, when did Daniel Jones go down with an injury? Number 17 again, right? On 9/11/01 days of the United States, number 17 goes down for the horse team, and he's replaced by Michael, Philip Michael, which is lover of horses, and Michael the Archangel. He went down on 12:7. Look at the verse in Revelation that Michael is explicitly mentioned. Michael is mentioned in Revelation 12:7. Wow. This is the day that brought all this together, December 7th. And notice the similar numbers in Michael Jordan's birthday, the year of the horse, right? 7, 1, and 2, right? The same numbers, guys, just rearranged. So Michael the Archangel mentioned in Revelation 12:7 through 12. So all 1s, 2s, and 7s, right? Now, what if I told you that Michael the Archangel is the leader of God's army? We're talking about Philip Rivers, who played for the Chargers, who is a war horse. And Michael, the Archangel, is essentially, he is the one who takes out Satan, right? He is the one who stabs Satan. Michael defeats Satan. Now, how does this connect to the horse? What if I told you that in Orthodox Christianity, Michael rides a horse? Let me find a good picture here. Michael is commonly depicted in Orthodox Christianity as riding a fiery red horse of the apocalypse. Why is that so mind-blowing? Because, guys, the horse year next year starts on Michael Jordan's birthday, who wore red. Let's bring up Michael Jordan. red fiery horse. Why is that so mind-blowing? Guys, what is the year of the horse? What element is the 2026 horse year? Oh, yeah, guys. The 2026 horse year on Michael Jordan's birthday is the fire horse. Huh. Do you guys understand how crazy that is? Oh, sorry, I got a comment on the screen. Sorry, guys. Guys. Sorry, I just removed the comment. So do you guys get that? Give me a thumbs up or a mind blown in the chat if you guys get the gravity of that. Michael Jordan, he wore red in his career. Michael the Archangel riding the red fire horse. The fire horse starts on Michael Jordan's birthday next year. And going back to the Colts and Philip Rivers, and Philip means lover of horses. His middle name is Michael. He coaches at St. Michael's Catholic Church, right? So this is all about Michael and horses, right? So that points you to next year's horse year on Michael Jordan's birthday. Next year is an eclipse. It also happens on the eclipse 121. Look at this. An annular eclipse 121. Well, what does revelation equal in gematria? Guys, the eclipse that's on Michael Jordan's birthday on the horse year is on eclipse number 121, like revelation. And Antichrist equals 121. So how much more perfect does this date get? December 17th. Or no, sorry, February 17th, 2026. The horse. It's perfect. It's all about Michael and the armies. Right? So remember, this is in Orthodox Christian art. Okay, Orthodox, right? So we're not talking about necessarily Michael Archangel horse Russian depiction. I think this has to do with Russia, guys. In Russian iconography, the Archangel Michael is commonly depicted in two specific contexts, riding horses as the horseman of the apocalypse, riding a ringed red horse. Okay. This is connecting to Russia and the Orthodox churches, I think, which Russia has a lot of, I believe, and other countries in Europe. So that's something to think about. But yeah, Michael was the archangel who rode the red fiery horse, right? So let's go back to Philip Rivers, right? Let's talk more about this because you got the lover. Philip means lover of horses. Michael is the archangel. What about the rivers? Rivers. Okay, well, didn't the beginning of the Bible have 4 rivers? Yes, and big shout out to Widow's Son again for talking about the 4 rivers in the Garden of Eden at the beginning. But let's talk about the 4 rivers, right? His last name is Rivers. So we got, again, let me recap this. Philip, horses, right? Michael the archangel, and rivers, okay? So again, we go to the beginning, right, of the Bible. And remember, Philip Rivers loves the phrase, now I begin, or new beginning, right? NUNC COEPI. So rivers references the 4 rivers in Eden. That's what this has to be about, guys. I mean, there's probably other rivers, but I want you guys to think about Michael Jordan and the horse year starting on Michael Jordan's birthday. Yeah, Notre Dame Stadium is located in South Bend, Indiana. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely something to that. Michael is the patron saint of Kiev, Ukraine. Wow. So the U guys, big shout out again to Heart Chakra, Bobby Simpson. Michael is the patron saint of Kiev, Ukraine. Guys, we're talking about the Indianapolis Colts who have the U, like Ukraine, right? So that's something we need to look into too. But guys, I'm sorry I can't keep all this. There's so much to this. It's so hard to like hit everything. This is so profound, okay? Um so the four rivers, right? Michael Jordan, right? So we got Michael Jordan, we got Philip Rivers. The first thing you should think of is the Jordan River. The Jordan River. All right, so we have this connection too. We got the Jordan River, we got the horse, and we got the Michael. We got the archangel. All this stuff tying together. So I haven't looked any more into the Jordan River, but there'll probably have to be a whole different video on this too. Like there's so much to touch on that I can't keep it all straight. Like I really can't keep it all straight. But think about the crossing of the Jordan, right? John Cena is crossing over. That's why he has a door. So John Cena is crossing over. Crossing. Indianapolis is the crossroads of America. The cross, right? Jesus on the cross. But notice the shirt, right? The John Cena shirt, it has a door. It has you're crossing into the door, the portal, right? Back to the future or back to the beginning. Remember, Charlie Kirk got shot. His phrase was turning point. So here we are, we're turning around and going back to the beginning, back to the future, new beginning, right? Starting over. The collapse of the tower. We're going to talk more about that probably in another video. There's so much to touch here. Crossing the river. Wait a minute. So somebody in the chat says that, hold on. Let me bring up this comment. Where's that comment at? Shoot. Oh, here it is. CENA is the water crossroad in the Middle East beside Jordan. So I don't know what that is, but if that's true, that's crazy. CENA? Hold on. CENA cross. Hold on. What did you say? CENA is the water crossroad. Hold on. So you're saying there's a... What do I need to type in to find this? That you're saying there's a place called CENA? Is that what you're saying? Or am I misinterpreting what you're saying? You're saying there's a place called CENA by the Jordan River. Please clarify that. Okay, so where do I find this? How do I find this? In Jordan. Let me type in Jordan. Hold on. Oh, it's called CENA. Okay, so it's one letter off. The Jordan River crossing. CENA. Let me just type in CENA in Jordan. Why is it so hard to find this? CENA. Huh, weird. I'll probably have to, I don't want to keep this going too long. I'll probably have to look into that separately. If anyone can tell me what I need to type in to find this. The point, though, is we're talking about Michael Jordan. We're talking about Phillip Rivers. Talking about the horse here. Crossing over the Jordan, right? And usually you would cross a river with, I mean, sometimes you see him crossing the river with horses. And George Washington crossing the Delaware, right? And George Washington's tied to this too. In fact, I don't even know if I'm going to get time to talk about that. But I mean, I guess you don't cross the Delaware with horses necessarily, but a small river, for instance, you would cross with horses, right? You wouldn't cross a deep river with horses. But I mean, George Washington, okay? So George Washington, his death date is December. And yeah, we're going back to the bridge thing again. Again, there's so many angles here. The bridge that goes over the water, right? But anyway, Michael Jordan, okay, so George Washington, right? George Washington crossed the river as well, right? And John Cena's last match is in D.C. one day before George Washington's death anniversary. So there's that. I mean, and then we have John Cena. John Cena's born on April 23rd. Now, how does this connect to Michael? Well, let me show you. St. George's Day. All right, so this is how this all connects, okay? I want you guys to look at the picture of St. George. Look at this. St. George is doing the exact same thing as Michael, the archangel. Again, look. We just talked about Michael the archangel, how it all connects to Phillip Rivers, Michael Jordan, all that stuff, the Jordan River. But now John Cena is born on April 23rd. Now, what is April 23rd? April 23rd is St. George's Day. And right here, St. George's Day is April 23rd, John Cena's birthday. St. George is stabbing the dragon Satan from a white horse. Very similar to Michael the archangel stabbing Satan. Sorry, I keep leaving the comments up, guys. I'm sorry about that. So look, here's Michael stabbing the horse, or from the horse, stabbing Satan, right? Michael the archangel. Well, here is Saint George from the horse stabbing Satan. Okay, so John Cena, yeah, the red dragon, right? The red dragon is Wales. Saint George is connected to Wales, right? Or Michael isn't Saint George, or first of all, John Jones. We started talking about Daniel Jones, right? Jones is a Welsh name. So we're talking about the Welsh, the red dragon on the flag. So that's Daniel Jones. Jones is a Welsh name. John Cena, born on St. George's. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but let's see. St. George. So St. George is known for the dragon, right? The Church of St. George in Lydda is now in Lod, Israel. Huh. Let me just type something in here. Shoot. All right, so for some reason I thought St. George was connected to Wales. Yes, the English flag is St. George's Cross, but I thought it was also connected to Wales. Oh boy, guys, this is so much info to connect. But yeah, so again, you guys are going to have to watch this whole video straight through to understand, because it's going to be way too complicated to just jump into this video and watch it from a certain point, because you guys are going to have to understand all the pieces. And there isn't any way to do that other than to watch the whole video. So I'm sorry if you're those people that come in and just watch to the end. It's not going to make sense to you if you don't watch the whole thing. So we haven't even gotten partially through this yet. How long have I been live? Man, guys, this video is getting super long. Super long. I don't even know what to do, man. All right, so we talked about Michael. We'll leave it there. George and the Dragon is a Welshman dragon. Let me just type it in and see if something comes up. Hold on. Is George and the Dragon connected to Wales? Okay, so it says here, the legend of St. George and the Dragon is not originally connected to Wales. The story is a distinct tradition from the Welsh dragon mythology, though the symbols have been contrasted. Okay, so similar stories. Again, yeah, so anyway, we'll come back to this probably in another video. I don't want to go more on this because I don't have the proper research for this. But the point is this: John Cena, born on St. George's Day, St. George stabs the dragon, right? So now we have John Cena facing a guy that kind of reminds me of a draconian. I mean, give me a thumbs up in the chat if this Gunther kind of looks like I mean, first of all, Gunther looks like a I don't know what Gunther looks like, but I just feel like there's something to this. John Cena versus the Dragon, right? St. George and the Dragon, right? Is Cena going to slay the Dragon, Gunther, in his final match? Again, we're going to talk more about Gunther later. I might need a whole nother video talking about Cena and Gunther, but all right, back to Rivers. back to Philip Rivers. We talked about the river. We talked about Jordan. We talked about the new beginnings. So big shout out to Gematrinator who did this slide because I didn't have time to build my own slide. Yeah, CENA stabbed Cody Rhodes. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Stabbed him in the back. All right, so back to Philip Rivers. Look at how this guy is connected to the golden ratio. Okay, look at this. First of all, there is an encyclopedia of the works of art of Jose Maria Escrive. If you guys want to know who that is, look it up. He's a Christian writer. But Escrive has a encyclopedia online, and they number each one of his concepts in this encyclopedia. And NUNC COEPI, okay, which is the phrase that Rivers lives by, NUNC COEPI, it is listed as number 161. Guys, what are the odds of that? Because look at the gematria of Philip Rivers. He lives by NUNC COEPI, and in this encyclopedia, NUNC COEPI is number 161. Philip Rivers in standard English gematria is 161. But not only that, guys, the first 5 numbers of the golden ratio are 16180. Look at the base 2 gematria ciphers of the gematria of Philip Rivers. 16180. Are you kidding me? On top of that, look at Philip Rivers' initials, P and R. P is the 16th letter. R is the 18th letter. Therefore, his initials are 1618. So his initials sum to 1618. His name, Philip Rivers, sums to 1618 and 80, like the first 5 letters of phi, the golden ratio. On top of that, his name is Philip, which begins with the letters PHI, which is, of course, phi. Are you kidding me? How much more obvious and how much more in your face do these things need to be for people to wake up? Guys, Philip Rivers played from his first game to his retirement was a span of exactly 16 years and 18 days. Thanks to shout out Gematrinator for finding that. Are you kidding me, guys? Give me a mind blown in the chat again. Sorry to keep moving on but give me a mind blown in the chat if you guys think this is not mind blowing. That his initials are 1618, his gematria of his name is 16180, and his whole career from his first game to his retirement was 16 years and 18 days, and his name begins with phi, PHI, which is phi, the golden ratio. So what do they, and look at this, guys, I got 161 in the chat. I just had 161 in the chat. YouTube is messing with me, man. Did you guys just see that? It bumped up to 161 and then it went away. But as soon as I was talking about this, it had to bump me up to 161. It's gone now. It says 154. But again, how many times has this happened to me? I think everyone needs to go back. I need to make a video, a compilation video of all the times that my channel has turned to the number I'm talking about in the video. It appears in my chat for the amount of people in my video. Because I guarantee you there's at least 50 or more. And if people would just see that all in one video, they would have to question this reality, okay? They would have to question, because it's not by coincidence that every time I'm talking about a number, It comes up in the chat. Okay? It's not a coincidence. So anyway, back to Philip Rivers. 16180, his gematria, his initials. He's got phi in his name. But let's make one more connection to Philip Rivers and John Cena. John Cena's retiring now, and Philip Rivers is unretiring. John Cena's a 17-time world champion. Philip Rivers played 17 seasons and wears the number 17. On the day that Philip Rivers retired, which was Joe Biden's inauguration day, that was in lunation 1213. Okay, so Philip Rivers retired when the moon was in lunation 1213. Guys, John Cena is retiring one day before Philip Rivers is unretiring, and John Cena is retiring on 1213. Are you kidding me? Not only is the 17 connection there, not only is the retirement narrative there, Rivers retired originally in 1213, and John Cena's retiring on 1213, and the next day, 1214, Rivers is unretiring. He might play his first game in 5 years, one day after Cena retires. So this brings me to the point. It's about a new beginning, guys. Cena's end is Rivers' beginning, his new beginning, right? So think about that. On 1213, Cena is walking away. And the Colts' next game, if Philip Rivers is to play and come out of retirement to play in his first game, the Colts, their next game is on December 14th, the next day. I know I'm missing a lot of stuff in the chat, guys. There's so many good comments in the chat. I can't keep up with it all. Okay, let me just hit some comments here. You guys are tearing it up in the chat, and I can't even, there's so much to cover, man. Holy moly. All right, so let's just start with this comment. Somebody's talking about the 153. Okay, let's talk about this really fast. 153 is the 17th prime number. The 153 fish, right? The golden ratio. The golden ratio equals 153. That's the 17th prime number, okay? We're having all these 17s, right? 153, the 17th prime. I'm stuck on 1.15.3 subs, and I can't get off of it, okay? There's a reason for that. YouTube playing around with my subs. Anyway, thank you for that. We will talk more about the Vesica Pisces, the 153, the Vesica Pisces. It all connects, but I don't want to stay on that too long. There's so much to talk about. Maggie McComb says, from Charlie Kirk's death to Michael Jordan's birthday, the start of the horse year is 161 days. Wow. Okay. So from Charlie Kirk to Michael Jordan is 161 days. Wow. And 23 weeks, guys. Michael Jordan wore the number 23. Philip Rivers is born on the day leaving 23 days in the year. Wow. So it's exactly 23 weeks from Charlie Kirk's assassination to Michael Jordan's birthday, which is the horse year, which is the eclipse, which is it lines up with the 1275. Okay, so that's the next comment I want to touch on. Widow's Son and Casey Jones and all of us have been talking about lunation 1275, which is Jesus Christ equals 1275. The last day of lunation 1275, which is Jesus Christ, is the day before the horse year, okay? And again, I don't want to go any deeper into that right now. Guys, oh my goodness. Okay, thank you to guys, Philip Robertson. My God. Holy crap. Earlier this year, a guy named Phil Robertson died. My last name is Robertson. Oh my gosh, I can't even get into this right now. There's too much to... Guys, I'm getting to the point where I really can't keep track of everything. I see it all in my head, but I can't explain it to you guys thoroughly. Because it's just too much right now. I'm overwhelmed. Let's put it that way. I'm overwhelmed. Like, that's why I haven't done a video in a while. I can't process all this. I can process it, but I can't share it all in a way that makes sense, I don't think. Like, ugh. Anyway, thank you. Thank you to Paul for that, because that's a whole nother subject. Look, I got 161 in the chat again. Yeah, the Colts and Seahawks this weekend is in Lumen Field, like illumination. Connected to the blackout again, yeah, probably. Oh. Phillip Rivers is actually 44. He just turned 44. Which, again, I explained why the 44 is so important in the beginning, because if you type in the number 17, it equals 44, like Rivers. So, again, let's just go over this just to make this point. Phillip Rivers lives by the phrase NUNC COEPI, which equals 44. His nickname is Uncle Phil, which equals 44. His last name is Rivers, which equals 44. He wears the number 17, which equals 44. And he wears the number 17, right? And he just turned 44 years old. Okay, so this is all you really need in the gematria, in my opinion, to prove. Because, like, guys, this is all... He played for the Lightning team. He lives by this phrase. His nickname is Uncle Phil. His last name is Rivers. He wears the number 17. He just turned 44. Now he's back in the news again. He's back in the spotlight. Okay? So definitely the 44 and 17, which is kill, which is Widow's Son has showed how the 44 and 17 connected to Charlie Kirk. Remember, Charlie Kirk was killed on 17 and 44 date numerology. The word kill equals 17 and 44. Widow's Son just told in the chat that Archangel Michael the Archangel. Oh my goodness. Michael the Archangel equals the golden ratio. Oh my goodness, guys. No way. You see why I can't keep this together? Guys, look. Are you kidding me? So this connects everything. We're talking about the guy, Philip Michael Rivers, who coaches at St. Michael. And his name is Philip, like the golden ratio. I already showed you that. I showed you why he's connected to the golden ratio clearly. And now the golden ratio equals 153, like Michael the Archangel. And 153 is the 17th triangular. And this is the most important number in this whole decode, the 17. It's... Oy, oy, oy. So, again, we live in a matrix, guys. We live in a perfectly coded, undeniably profound reality. Almost there's nothing to say but just to shut up, okay? Like, sometimes I think I should just stop my channel and I don't have anything more to say. Just be quiet. Silence is the best. At this point, it seems like silence and reverence to God is the best option sometimes, because this is all so mind-blowing, okay? Silence sometimes just works better. All right. So thank you, Widow's Son, for that. Wow. This 153 is so important, guys. How many subs do I have right now? Just to show you guys how I'm organically tied to this. videos, man. So look at this. How many subs am I on right now? 15.3. I've been stuck on 15.3 for like a month now. This is the first time in my whole channel's history that I haven't been able to gain one sub for a whole month. First time, guys. I've had my channel for almost 4 years, and this is the first time I can ever remember that I cannot gain it. I cannot make any progress in my sub count. I'm stuck on 15.3. I can't get off. I'm stuck. I'm stuck on 15.3. And it's not for a coincidence, okay? This is the number, essentially, that connects to everything I've been doing. It's the 17 connection, okay? I'm from the 17 state. Number 17 gets hurt from my favorite team as a childhood. Last month, I did a video showing you guys how I predicted how number 17 would score a goal, and I had a lucky break, right? Well, it wasn't luck, and then my team, who I grew up rooting for, a month later, he goes down, number 17, the quarterback for the team I used to root for. He goes down when the United States is 9/11/01 days old. And guys, this was the last day I was in the 17th state. I left the 17th state, Ohio, on the day that number 17, the quarterback for my team, went down with an injury, okay? And I've been in Germany now. I live on a road where the address adds up to 17. The road itself has a 17 in it. I'm from the 17th state. I'm stuck on 1.53 subs, which is the 17 prime. Was it 153 days after my birthday? Oh, yeah, the goal thing, yeah. I'm born on the 170th day of the year. Like 17, right? I predicted a goal by number 17 153 days after my birthday, which was 153 days. Again, 153 is the 17 triangular number. That was 153 days before the player's birthday, triangular number. Yeah, I keep saying prime. It's the triangular number. 153 is the 17 triangular number. So that was 153 days after my birthday. The player I predicted was exactly 1,700 weeks old, and he wore the number 17, and he was exactly 153 days before his birthday, which is the 17 triangular number. I did this because his odds were predicted. His odds to score a goal were 1,700, which leads me to this. If you type out Philip Rivers unretiring, look at this. If you type out Philip Rivers unretiring, hold on. Shout out to Gematrinator for this. I can't spell that word. Guys, look at what I'm telling you. This is a matrix, guys. I just had this whole thing with 1,700 last month. And then the team that I rooted for as a kid, they bring back Philip Rivers. And look at what the gematria of Philip Rivers unretiring equals. In 2 ciphers. In 2 ciphers. This was the age of the player I bet on last month. He was exactly 1,700 weeks old when he bet, and I scored that goal. And look at his name. Look at what Philip Rivers unretiring equals. 1,700 in 2 ciphers. And that's not even it. If you type in the number 17, it equals 1,700 in reverse. Look at this stuff, guys. You guys are watching an organic. This is not the elites, okay? This is not the elites doing this. This is God, okay? This is something so much higher than we ever understand. Again, if you guys go back to that video, let me see if I can just pull it up so I can show you the proof that I talked about this number. Here it is right here. This is my video from a month ago. I talked about John Cena, the 17-time world champion. Right here it is, guys. I bet that this guy would score his goal right here. This player was 1,700 weeks old when he scored his number 17, was 1,700 weeks old when he scored his goal, which goal equals 17. His odds to score the goal were plus 1,700. I bet 44-17, guys. Oh my. Guys, I'm literally going to cry. I have 153 in the chat right now. Oh. Guys, I have 153 in the chat. I just took a screenshot of it. I just had 153 in the chat. God is winking at me, guys. I'm telling you, guys are all witnessing that we're living in something so much more big than what we understand. I bet that this guy would score a goal, and I bet $44.17. I don't know why I bet that. I think it was because Sean told me about that number. But who did I just talk about today with the 44 and 17? I just talked about Philip Rivers. But again, Philip Rivers connected to the 44 and 17. Philip Rivers is now unretiring to come play for my favorite team as a kid. That equals 1,700, just like the number 17. And that was the odds that I bet on. Again, I bet a 1,700 odds. And I turned 44.17 into $795 when this player was 1,700 weeks old. And it was 153 days before my birthday, 153 days before his birthday. And he scored a goal, which equals 17. And 17 equals 1,700. And that's how old he was. Guys, I could not make this up if I tried. I could not. Everything that's happened to me in the last month has been blowing my mind. And I'm proving it on live streams for you guys to see. I'm not just hiding any of it. And then I landed at 9/11 on the United States being 9/11/01 days old. So anyway, Philip Rivers. Now, I didn't know Philip. Guys, last month, I had no idea Philip Rivers was going to be unretiring, okay? No idea. Like, this number that happened to me last month when I bet on the hockey player, I had no idea it was going to connect. It's just, I don't know what to say, you know? I don't know what to say. And Sean's mentioning another point here. The Golden Knights is the guy who scored the goal connects to Michael, right? Like a knight on a horse. Golden ratio. Guys, golden ratio. We connected Philip Rivers to the golden ratio. I was just talking about the golden ratio and Philip Rivers, and it was the Golden Knights player that scored that goal for me that made me that bet, right? And again, guys, I don't bet anymore. I'm in Germany. I can't bet. But I won that bet, and I took that money, and I used it to come to Germany. I needed that money. It was destiny. And I'll never find another bet like that in my entire life, probably. That's why I walked away with the money, because I knew it was meant to be, guys. There was my destiny to bet that night and to get that number. And it was my destiny to come to Germany and land in Washington at 9/11 on the night United States being 9/11/01 days. I didn't plan all that, guys. It all happened organically. I could never plan any of that. Could never. And this isn't about me, guys. I'm not any more special than anyone. I'm just telling you that this reality is bigger than we understand. That's it. God is in full control. It's not the elites doing this. At least not fully. Of course people have power. Of course they can manifest things. In fact, what if the elites are doing what I just did? What if I manifested all this Philip Rivers stuff last month with all this 1700 stuff? And what if the elites do the same thing? They want something to happen, so they put the stuff towards it, and then they manifest all this stuff. It's manifestation magic. Yeah, the golden ratio equals 225, like the year we're in. Yeah, and that's what I mean is who's to say that people with nefarious things cannot use this reality to manifest things they want, but God uses everything for his own good, right? So ultimately, the evil will not prevail, right? Which that's why you see Michael, the archangel, stabbing Satan, right? But anyway, guys, let me just hit the last points and then I'm going to wrap this up. I'm so sorry for all this random stuff that come up, but there's just too much to talk about. So I talked about the golden mean, right? The golden mean. It's the middle way, desirable middle way between two extremes, one of excess and the other of deficiency. So again, actually, I'm not going to talk about this. Let's get this. I'm just going to leave this for another time. So Philip Rivers, his favorite phrase is, let me go back to this. His favorite phrase is, oops, sorry. Man, I just can't get it right here. I still almost have 153 in the chat. All right, so Philip Rivers, his favorite phrase is "NUNC COEPI." That means new. Now I begin, or it can also mean begin again. Okay, so this is the final. This is the last part of this decode. Begin again, guys. So what if I told you that Taylor Swift has a song called "Begin Again"? Okay, why is this important? Because John Cena, who's retiring one day before Philip Rivers is unretiring, John Cena's retiring on Taylor Swift's birthday. Let me just show you her birthday. Taylor Swift's birthday, December 13th. Taylor Swift has a song called Begin Again. So this is on December 13th, on Taylor Swift's birthday, and she has a song called Begin Again, right? Okay. What if I told you there's a movie called Begin Again? And if you guys haven't seen this movie, it's a great movie. Actually a movie I've seen. And the song in this movie is very good. It's about music. Look, you see how it's about music? So what if we do a measurement from this movie, Begin Again, and we go to John Cena and Philip Rivers, right? Let's just take a measurement. So this movie came out on September 7th, 2013. So here we go. September 7th, 2013. This just brings it all together. And if we go to Philip Rivers and John Cena, so John Cena is retiring. John Cena is retiring on Taylor Swift's birthday, December 13th. And Taylor Swift has a song called Begin Again. But if we go from the movie Begin Again to Phillip Rivers, his first game back from unretiring, if he plays on Sunday. Look at this, guys. But if we go from Begin Again movie to John Cena retiring, look at this. It's 12 years, 13 weeks, like the date that John Cena's retiring, 12/13. But it's even better, guys, because the next day is exactly 12 years and 14 weeks from the movie Begin Again. And if Phillip Rivers plays on this day, he will be playing on the date 12/14, which is the day leaving 17 days in the year and has 17 date numerology. Like he wears the number 17. Are you kidding me, guys? From the movie Begin Again, it's 12 years and 14 weeks to the date 12/14, where Phillip Rivers will begin again. And his favorite phrase, NUNC COEPI, means begin again. I mean, come on. And the day before that, John Cena's retiring on Taylor Swift's birthday, and she has a song called Begin. If I can get it up here, hold on. Anyway, she has a song called Begin Again. I mean, what in the world? How perfect is that? That if you measure from the song to the date, it lands on the date, 12/14. So do you guys see how this is? This is all about the endings and new beginnings. So whatever's going to happen on December 13th going into December 14th, you're going to see some stuff happen that connects to new beginnings. I'm telling you. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what the event's going to be. I'm not predicting a major worldwide event, just like I wasn't with the 9/11/01 days on Pearl Harbor Day. I wasn't predicting the world would end, but what are we going to see from December 13th and 14th? And then the rest of December also looks super crazy. So, but I guarantee you, whatever happens with John Cena on December 13th and whatever happens with Phillip Rivers the next day, right? And what are the odds that Phillip Rivers could play his first game back on the day leaving 17 days in the year, and the date adds up to 17, both? 217 connections. That reminds me of the movie 17 again. And in fact, I think this movie is super connected. I mean, this has to be connected, man. Yeah, there's a whole thing with Joan Rivers. Guys, guess what Phillip Rivers' mother's name is? I'll give you one guess. Look at this. Phillip Rivers' mother's name. Are you kidding me? Like, shout out to Ball Don't Lie, who on our Eye to Eye podcast, he mentioned how Joan Rivers is probably connected to Phillip Rivers, but we didn't even know at that time when he said that Phillip Rivers' mother's actual name is Joan Rivers. Like, I'm not talking about the real Joan Rivers, the actress. I'm talking about Phillip Rivers' mother's name just happens to be Joan Rivers. Okay. This is ridiculous. Like, of all names, his mother's name is Joan Rivers. And again, his son's name is Gunnar, And again, Gunner connects to the guy I was talking about here, Gunther, who's facing John Cena. Yeah, probably River Phoenix is connected to this too. A phoenix is a new beginning, right? So it is all connected to River Phoenix, of course. But I hope you guys got a laugh out of that, because also, guys, I didn't even get to this part, but Prince Philip, okay? Prince Philip. Look at Prince Philip. Okay, remember, Prince Philip means lover of horses. Look at this. Prince Philip died on April 9th, 2021. So let's go from April 9th, 2021. So look at this. Here's the day that Prince Philip died, right? Here's the day that Philip Rivers is maybe coming back for the Colts, right? Let's measure the days. It's 1710 days. You got your 17 again. But it's 1710 days. Well, what is the gematria of Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh? Look at this. Are you kidding me, guys? Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh equals 1710, and Philip Rivers could be returning 1710 days after Prince Philip died. Are you kidding me? That's his gematria. So you see how crazy I mean, again, you guys know how crazy all this is, but I got a comment on the screen again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so bad at that. Yeah, but look, Philip Rivers is going to be returning possibly 1710 days after Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, died. And that's his gematria. I mean, that's not an easy number to hit, you know, like. Now look how many days after Prince Philip died the horse year starts. Look at this. Guys, this is huge. Look at this. Prince Philip died 1776 days before the horse year starts. Philip means lover of horses. What in the world, guys? Prince Philip, lover of horses, dies 1776 days before the horse year. And it's not only that. Look at this. That's exactly 65 moons. The date is 65 date numerology. And in gematria, the word horse. The word horse equals 65. So the Prince Philip died 65 moons exactly before the horse year, and horse equals 65. Not to mention the 1776. I mean, come on. Again, how old was John Cena when Daniel Jones went down for the horse team? He was 1776, 0 days old. And now, Prince Philip, I'm telling you, it's crazy, guys. It's crazy. This is a date we're going to be talking about for the next couple months for sure, because this date, February 17th, is the horse year. And again, let me show you this. We have Super Bowl 60 coming. Year of the horse equals 60, right? Year of the horse equals 60. Indianapolis Colts. The team I've been talking about this whole decode equals 60. You see that? How perfect. Year of the horse equals Indianapolis Colts. And in this next year is going to be the horse year and Super Bowl 60. 60 is like 60 minutes in an hour, like a completion, right? Full circle. But another team I'm looking for also is the Houston Texans. They also, interestingly, equal 60. That's another football team. Anyways, it doesn't matter. That's it, guys. I'll look more into this movie 17 again. Let me just do one more measurement. Just see if there's anything here. Interesting. It's 16 years, 10 months, like 161. Like Philip Rivers, like the 161s. Anyway, let's go to this date. Wait, when will this will turn 17 years old this year. Interesting. So 17 again, movie will turn 17 years old in April. It's crazy, man. Crazy. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you guys so much. I really love you all, and I appreciate the 147 of you, if that's even really how many's in here. Again, we know YouTube's playing with something, or something's playing with something. But it could be organic. I mean, God's winking, right? The runtime on 17 again is 102 minutes, of course. But yeah, guys, I didn't even cover everything. If you guys want to check out all the numbers, please go over to gematrynator.com and go to the blog section and check out Gematrynator's posts on the Philip Rivers. Oh, look at this. Philip Rivers, okay, again, big shout out to Gematrynator. Look at this. John Cena, right? He was 17,760 days on the Jones injury. And then Philip Rivers comes out of retirement to replace Jones. Philip Rivers unretiring equals 1776. And we just found out that Prince Philip died 1776 days before the horse year. Crazy. Anyways, I'm not going to go more, but if you guys want to see more of the numbers, how crazy it is, go over to Gematrynator 85, the blog section, click on the Philip Rivers blogs, and you will see all of his great work on this decode, okay? It's all connected with the 423. There's so much more I could talk about, but we'll leave it at that, okay? All right, guys. I love you all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to hit the hay. Guys, no pun intended. The horse year, the hay, right? Hit the hay. I don't know if you guys know that saying, but I'm going to hit the hay just like a horse. And I didn't even mean to say that. That was not meant. But I love you all, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, wherever you are. And I will see you guys very soon. If you guys want to support the channel, the best way is to hit the like button. Buy me a coffee link is at the top. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Much love.